I know a few good stories. They take place in a corner of America that might seem familiar, yet still manages to surprise. The settings are spectacular, the characters compelling, the action exciting, the plot lines unpredictable. I'm Tom Richardson. Join me as I explore New England's great outdoors, from Candlewood Lake, Connecticut to Caribou, Maine, from the beaches of Cape Cod to the peaks of New Hampshire's White Mountains. The stories are waiting. Let's live them on Explore New England. Explore New England is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, your local REI co-op. REI believes that a life outside is fundamental to a life well lived. Visit newengland.com and Camping World. Additional funding and support for this episode was provided by the Maine Office of Tourism, Destination Moosehead Lake, and Bangor Savings Bank. No animal is more emblematic of the Maine wilderness than the mighty moose. Yet despite their size, moose can be remarkably elusive. Finding them requires intimate knowledge of their habits and habitat, and quite often, a bit of luck. As a kid, moose were very much on my mind during our annual family vacations in the Moosehead region. As we drove north along the Moosehead Trail, my brother and I were forever hoping to spy one of the big antlered beasts, perhaps wallowing in a roadside bog or browsing a clear cut. But that never happened. Home base for these Maine trips was always Lily Bay State Park on the eastern shore of Moosehead Lake, and a place I got to know quite well over a 12-year span. I recently returned to the park, this time with a no boundaries camper in tow, and was delighted to find that it hadn't changed much at all in the past 40-odd years.
So, I gotta say, man, this place hasn't really changed since I was a kid.
We haven't changed at all. We're still at 93 sites in the campground, and we don't have any hookups. It's 50-50, I'd say, campers and tent sites here. So we're sort of keeping it old school, which I think a lot of people appreciate. Now, a site like this, you know, you're right on the water, you have the cove, so there's a lot to do here on that front. A wide variety of hiking trails nearby as well. And I think the big give on this one is that you have such great water access on a lot of these sites, especially in Rowell.
Yeah.
And people love that because, you know, they can bring their kayaks and canoes and they can kind of mix it up throughout the day and whatever they want to do. And I mean, it's Moosehead, biggest lake in the state of Maine, right? We've really kept it the way it's been for many, many years. And I think in some way that's very special because a lot of other campgrounds are changing to kind of meet with the times and the different needs and try and attract new guests. And I think it's special that Lily Bay is sort of catering to that old school mentality and keeping it real in that sense.
Well, that's what I like.
There's a trailer service area if you have a camper so that you can pump water. We've got plenty of faucets throughout both campground loops. Bathroom facilities, we have plenty of vaults, and then we also have a comfort station, which we have passed on our way over to Rowell, which has 8 stalls with flushable toilets, showers, that sort of thing, heated, and that's all part of your stay as well. Wow, you were a brave one.
I tell you, man.
Incredible, huh?
All right, well, we're gonna have to leave. This is obviously your site, pal. So we're gonna take off and go check out another part of the campground.
I think he's coming with us.
All right, hey, more the merrier. So Brian, how many slips do you have here in this dock system?
Yeah, absolutely, 16 total.
16 total, and so there's no extra additional charge if you pay for a site, and if you bring your boat, then you can keep it here free.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's such that's really convenient.
Yeah, it's a great addition that we offer for our guests, and it's something that I'm certainly very proud of.
Yeah, and the launch ramp's right down at the end there.
Tom, this is our day use area. We provide a playground for the kids over there. We have a beach here with a gorgeous view, as you can see. We have trailheads heading out that way along the coast. This is a really popular spot for our campers. And like you see, we've got grills and picnic tables and running water as well available for people to use if they want to. Typically, people that want to use the Dun slips are from the Dun campground, and then people that use the RAL are from the RAL campground just because it's convenient. But this is sort of like our epicenter of activity during the day for our campers when they're within the state park. And this is a beautiful park, and it's very multifaceted, and there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of space.
Yeah.
You know.
It seemed like you had some young fans over there that recognized you earlier. You're like their hero, right?
Well, I mean, thank you. But you know, that's just like that's the best part of this position here, is that we get to interact with the public. That's why we're here. And we develop these friendships over time. And I know I speak for the rest of our department, where this is sort of what we're focused and honed in on. You know, our mission is to basically create a space where people in state and out of state can come in, enjoy some of the most beautiful parts of Maine. And we try to present it in the best way possible. And we try to interact with the public as possible. And it just really works out.
Returning to Lily Bay State Park brought back fond memories of days spent canoeing, swimming, catching frogs, hiking, and most frequently, fishing. As I was mostly shore-bound in my angling pursuits, I never caught anything very large, but I could sit for hours, focused intently on my bobber and dreaming of hooking one of Moosehead's mythic lake trout, or togue. Proof that such monsters existed hung on the walls of Sanders General Store in Greenville, where we sometimes purchased fishing tackle. Even back then, I knew you needed to fish deep to catch togue, especially in the summer, and that required a boat and specialized equipment, the kind of gear found on Harold King's tricked-out Proline center console. His reputation for success and no fish, no fee guarantee has made him one of the most popular guides on the lake.
How do you know they're biting?
Time of day, sun's out. They bite a lot better when it's sunny. These lures flash with sunlight. You know, I catch 3 times as many fish when that sun's out versus cloudy skies. So we'll put some fish in the boat.
Yeah, so tell me about it. Just go over the depth again, like what depths you're looking for when you're fishing in the midsummer months.
Deep water.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
like over
they're
100 feet?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, your water temp. Right now, our surface temp's already 74 degrees. You know, so
that's warm.
Yeah, them fish are just going to keep going deeper, deeper, and deeper. You know, they like it in the 50s, you know, lower 50s. So, and that's where all the smelts and the feed is going to end up too. So, and once these mayflies are done hatching, that's kind of the last big hatch up here, and they're all going to go deep then.
Yep.
Growing up in Michigan, I grew up fishing the Great Lakes. You know, so I was 8 years old running downriggers. My grandfather was a commercial fisherman on the Great Lakes, so coming out here and fishing lake trout and salmon, that's what I was raised doing. And it just happens to be that a lot of equipment and a lot of things were developed on the Great Lakes, and you know, I do very well out here fishing, to say the least. And so it's worked out pretty good for me to be able to take a couple of my favorite hobbies and make a career out of it. And so it's pretty easy to wake up every morning at 4 o'clock and, you know, go fishing or go look at moose. So, bye. All right.
All right. Nice.
Good
job, man. He must have been swimming to the sitting there upwards, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think?
I'm teasing, yeah.
I was like cranking on that thing. Yeah! Woo! That was good timing, my friend.
Oh.
Sweet.
Hey, there
There
go.
we go. Now that's a little one, right?
Yeah, he's still big enough for your frying pan.
Okay, all right.
If I'm gonna clean one fish for you, I'm gonna clean more than one.
All right.
My half-day fishing trip on Moosehead with Harold King proved to be a great success, and Harold sent me back to camp with several fillets for dinner. Aside from lake trout, landlocked salmon, brook trout, perch, and smallmouth bass are also available in the region and can be found in many of the pristine ponds, streams, and rivers. Just about a mile from Lily Bay State Park, you'll find Prong Pond. It harbors good numbers of smallmouth and perch, but also happens to be a beautiful spot for a canoe or kayak paddle, with good access and parking available at the dirt ramp just off Prong Pond Road. And yes, it's also a pretty good place to see a moose, especially in the early morning or evening. If it's salmon and brook trout you seek, head 11 miles farther north of Prong Pond to the tiny town of Cocadjo, population 1,600. Here, on the shores of First Roach Pond, at the head of the famous Roach River, you'll find Northern Pride Lodge and Campground, run by the husband and wife team of Wayne and Barbara Plummer, both registered Maine guides who know and love the outdoors.
Well, it's been 20 years. We bought the place in April of 2000.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, we actually had a camper, one of the campsites right down there, and we had been looking for a place. We were thinking more of like having our own little house and little outpost cabins. But then the previous owners, that so we knew them well. We'd been here for 5 or 6 years camping, and they decided they were going to sell. And next thing I knew, we were here. I mean, we've had all kinds of adventures on the hunting and fishing trips, moose safaris, all that.
Well, our lodge guests come for a whole variety of reasons. Hunting, we guide moose, we guide bear, we guide deer, rough grouse,
coyote.
Fishing, he has the drift boat. He drifts from the middle of May right through, well, till you start.
Well, bear season starts.
Bear season, yeah.
I mean, we're at the end of the tar road. The tar road ends a couple hundred yards beyond our driveway. So after that, it's woods.
Yeah.
And it's all open to the public. We've been very lucky. It's all been paper company, Plum Creek, Weyerhaeuser. They've continued to let us use that land. I make my living off their land, basically. All my hunting and stuff that I do is pretty much on their land, so it's been good. Yep. So we have 5 guest rooms in the lodge, total of 13 beds, depending on how what we have for people and how they want their arrangements made. And then we have a 24-site campground. Most of it we keep as seasonal. I think 19 sites are seasonal. We keep a couple open for weekends and vacations, and then we have 3 tent sites that we keep available for people that want to come in on the weekends and for a week's vacation and tent and stuff like that. The thing I like about what we do here at the lodge is it's a 4-season recreational area, so I get to change my work 2 or 3 times throughout the year. I start my season basically around the middle of May, which is my fishing season, and I'll fish through till the 3rd or 4th week of August before my bear season starts. So I get to fish all summer. Then I switch into hunt mode. So I start out bear hunting, then I go to moose hunting, then it's deer season, bird hunting, all that.
Don't tell them about the bird hunting.
Don't tell them about the bird hunting. And then that will take us into the winter. And depending on snow conditions really starts our winter season, because we're right on ITS 86, so we're a snowmobile location. People come in, spend the night with us, do lodge and meals, do all that kind of stuff, and snowmobile. And plus the winter months, I have some pretty good followers that coyote hunt with me all winter long. So then in the spring again, it's getting the campground ready again and getting ready for fishing. So I kind of get to change my work as the year goes on, and kind of keeps me interested in everything I got going. We have boat rental, and we got canoes and kayak rentals as well for people staying in the lodge or camping.
And we do have some boats and canoes stashed on remote ponds for people to use while they're staying with us and fish and moose safaris, whatever they want to do. And there's some good fishing ponds that you've got those boats in on.
Yep.
What do you guys just do on your days off?
Go fishing or hunting.
I fall off that boat dock an awful lot during the day in the summertime.
A few hundred yards from Cacadjo, the blacktop ends, giving way to dirt roads that wind through land owned and managed by timber companies. It's in this network of rutted and potholed roads that Harold King pursues his great passion, looking for moose. Lest you be tempted to navigate these back roads on your own, understand that locals do so only in four-wheel drive vehicles equipped with 10-ply tires. Regular tires will almost certainly fall victim to the notorious sharp-edged shale that has proved the bane of many an unwitting traveler, myself included.
How many people, this has been the first time they see a moose. Lived here their whole lives. Me, I don't like going a day without seeing one. That's why I live here. An adult moose eats up to 70 pounds of vegetation a day.
Wow.
You know, and then they got a multi-chamber stomach like a cow, so they spend half the day eating 70 pounds of vegetation, then they got to go lay down somewhere, hang out somewhere, and burp it up and re-eat it, chew their cud like cows do. Moose in the native language means twig eater, because about 8 months of the year, that's all they eat. Make sure you get a shot of that beaver, because the beaver are the most important animals out here to these moose. Well, beavers are the ones that make all these small ponds and build dams and, you know, create their own ecosystems out here. They're hugely important to these animals. As soon as you get out of this vehicle, you're just going to scare him. He's going to run away, and you're going to cost him precious energy and time and that he needs to be feeding. And that's, you know, everyone's first instinct. Get out, see if you can get closer, get a better picture, and, you know, it's all you're doing is ruining that moose's day by doing that. Okay.
There he is right there.
See? I don't know what's not fascinating about a moose, really, though. You know, I mean, you just got to take one look at the gumpy looking buggers and, you know, the long legs, the big nose, the dangly thing from their neck. What the heck's that all about anyways, you know? I mean, grow a set of antlers that big every summer and drop them off every fall. I mean, they're just an amazing animals. You know, they spend as much time in the water as a beaver or an otter, you know. That's where they go find their food, you know, a good portion of it at least. So they're quite an amazing animal. Every time I see a moose is like the first time I've ever seen a moose. I mean, I get out there and I had to keep buying different cameras with better steady shots in them because I got to take 45 pictures to get one because I'm shaking like a leaf every time I see one. It's just like a little kid in a candy store to me. You know, never get tired of looking at them funny looking buggers. Oh, I mean, I've had so many incredible things the last few years. For me to be able to pick out one instance that sets it apart, it's pretty hard. I've had moose, I've had a couple charge me, I've had them walk right up as curious, but I did couple summers ago, I got a lot of pictures and photos of it. I came across a big bull moose. It was early in the season, so his antlers were only growed out so far. But I spent almost an hour with this bull moose, and he had a little fuzzy calf with him. And typically you never see them little tiny calves around a bull because the females won't let them, for one. And I spent over an hour with them. I got videos of this bull moose going over to this mud puddle and kneel down and drink. And the little calf would follow him right over there and kneel down alongside of him and drink, and this went on for a good 45 minutes or an hour, and the cow never did show up. So I don't know if the bull had adopted that little bugger or what, but at one point the little calf, I had been there filming them for quite a while, so the little calves are quite curious, and that little bugger come wandering over to me a little too close, and that bull was actually the only time I've ever really been scared of a moose, because that bull, he cocked his head sideways and drool started running out of his mouth. He looked like he wanted to eat me. He was protecting that little baby. Like I said, I don't know if it ended up adopting him, if he adopted him, or if the mother was off doing something or what, but it definitely stood out from other behaviors of the moose. And, this area is such a special area, compared to other places, because for one, the timberland, this is just a huge farm out here basically, and there's an unlimited amount of trails and woods and hiking areas and ponds and land to explore. So there's not too many places in the United States that you can actually go get lost in the woods, and you can here. This is the kind of woods that you don't even want to step into these woods without a compass or GPS in your hand, because you don't know if you'll come back out, because they are thick, and once you get deep in there, if you got a little cloud cover or something, you can get turned around in there, and these are big woods, bigger woods than you're going to find in most places in the United States for sure. And this is a special lake. This lake stretches almost 40 miles long. It's the most user-friendly lake. I've been on all the Great Lakes and lakes everywhere. But this lake, the way it's shaped, and it's 80-some islands, there's always somewhere that you can go play on this lake. It's the most user-friendly body of water you can even imagine. Might have to go through some rough water to get somewhere, but you can always go tuck behind an island or something and get out of it. It's just an incredible body of water. This whole region is just a very, very special place. There's no doubt about it.
Moose and lake trout are two iconic animals that contribute to the Maine wilderness experience. But equally important is the outdoor knowledge provided by folks like Harold King, Barbara and Wayne Plummer, and Ranger Brian Fay, who help facilitate our ability to access and interact with wild creatures in their natural habitat. Without them, most of us would face a rather steep learning curve.